up? Welcome back to another episode of the Parallel Boys. God damn, man, that last episode was fucking boring. I didn't really. I'm sorry, I didn't really think it through. When I recorded that episode, I was really fucking lazy. And according to the name, like that's why I named it that, because it was a lazy cast. I mainly recorded it while I was laying down on my bed of sorrows, like Snorlax. But dude, I tried to listen back to that episode and it was fucking boring. Like, it was atrociously bad, especially just for it to be an official comeback podcast and shit. Um, but I'm sorry about that. I really do apologize. Um, Damn, like I feel really bad. Like, I feel so bad. Like, if I had money, I'll pay you guys back. I'll give you guys a refund. Um, but I don't. I'm fucking broke. So it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Actually, it kind of is my fault. Um, but let's get past this. Let's get past this. Um, this episode, I'm dedicate it a little bit to AI. AI. You know what AI is? Artificial intelligence. I've been thinking about a lot of things about AI lately. Mainly because recently there was a picture that was generated on AI, and it looks so fucking real. Like, you really had to look at it in detail to realize how like real it was. It's kind of scary, and it just makes you wonder. Like, damn, AI is fucking insane. Um, but it also goes back to the thought that I had, where I was like, this is fucking dangerous. How like accurate this picture is. And actually, by the way, I just want to let you guys know, I found a little bit of time while I'm working, so low key I am kind of low key getting paid for this episode. But yeah, going back to AI, I don't even know why I had to fucking mention that. Do I want to get in trouble on purpose? I don't know. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention too that Lalo will not be joining us today. He's getting back into the groove in work, and hopefully by next week. You know what I mean? I just don't want to fucking like push it on him. Hopefully, Lalo, if you're listening, hopefully you're back with us next week. Why am I talking to him like I don't see him every day? Yeah. Okay. Damn. Your boy Turkey has issues. Like, you know what I mean. Um, now that I think about it, me and Lalo rarely talk even at the house. But it's all good. But yeah, he's getting better. So, hopefully by next week he could join us, maybe full time, or I don't know. I'll probably make his ass do a fucking podcast on his own. You know what I mean? But going back to AI, sorry to keep fucking jumping. It's just my fucking ADHD is all over the fucking place. You know what I mean? This podcast might be short too because I don't have that much time. Well, I do have a lot of time, but see, I keep sabotaging myself. I don't fucking know. But going back to AI though, um, yeah. So this picture was insanely fucking accurate. I think you would have to look at this picture at least 3 to 5 times to kind of see that it was generated. Only because there was a few little abnormalities, like defects, you would call them, where I wish I could show you guys an example, but it was just these people. They looked American or Canadian, mainly white, and they were at a coffee shop. What it looks like a coffee shop, and there were just one guy was paying his stuff. One lady was kind of moving to the side, and people on the side were waiting, and like even the lighting of day and everything looks so fucking accurate to the point where I was like, because I was like, what's the point of this picture? And then I read the caption. It said, yeah, this picture was generated completely with AI. And later they start to break down, like, on the side there was a video where later this guy starts to break down what makes it stand out. And then I was like, oh, of course. So like, maybe again, like, to the person that's just like glancing at it, it definitely looks like a picture. But you would really have to like really look at it to realize it's a fake, which is insane though, because now that I think about it, I'm like, dude, how much of these images, future images used in like news and like media going forward, how much is that? How much of that would be real? You know what I mean? Like how much of that shit is real? You know, especially now. You know, now it almost seems like it's going through a form of beta, a beta test, right? That's what they call it. Like they usually do. I guess people would know that from like video games when they go through their beta test or their beta phase. It's like before they launch, they do an official launch? They invite people to play the game, um, just to see how it functions before launch, right? Just to kind of like smooth out the testing and if there's any like glitches or anything. I don't know if they have to report any issues, but I think that's part of the program, like why they let you in. So I've never done a beta phase for a game, but it's not just video games. It's websites. It's it's other things. You know, I'm pretty sure another word for it is like a soft launch, where they just launch it just to work the kinks out, see if there's any it's just quality assurance, to make sure it runs properly before releasing it to the public, to the wide public. But but that's what AI seems like it right now to me right now, with all these applications like chat GBT and shit like that, and like which is but again, it also makes me wonder, like, well, like this is kind of dangerous, because you're like, well, if this is getting too fucking close, like, what would stop like a company to generate a stock footage that they need for the specific story? Like, and at that point, is it that I feel like that story would be invalid now, right? Because you're using an artificial image to represent that article or whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, man, that's pretty fucking deceiving, right? It's kind of like fuck. This is kind of like in a way. This is kind of like in a way to phase out what's real and what's not, and it's scary too. Especially the electronic um, side of things is like within years. If you think about it, unless you're like really really into something that's read or seen online, like within years it could slightly be edited if you think about it. I think that's one of the dangerous issues, and that's why I think metadata going forward. Metadata is like information that files contain when they were created, or yeah, just information that's based on the file that's carried forward. It usually includes the date it was created, and then also watermarks. I think watermarks would be, I don't know, maybe like this is what I'm saying. Like now, like when you see an image, or when you see a song, I mean, when you hear a song, or when you see art online, you kind of want to see the authenticity of it about it. You think that would be like some sort of certification going towards in the future? Like it's almost like this is the certification of authenticity, like in digital print, because at this point it's like, and it is weird because it kind of goes back to that to that cringy, like what's it called, the art form that was, oh, fuck, what was it called, the damn, it just fucking slipped my mind. That fucking what's it called, fucking the art that's sold online, what's it called, fuck, it'll come back to me, it'll come back to me. um but yeah, like it kind of goes back to that, where you would kind of need a law in place going forward, so you don't have issues like that going forward. Because imagine if, especially now, it's a great example of what the world's going through now, and there's so much news being spread around social media now, because that's where usually everything is fucking, like broadcasted around now, over TV. It's like through social media, and sometimes you would see certain posts where you're like, oh, people just pretty much just compiled all this stuff just to make it look like it's according to that. But and then you realize later, oh no, that's a video from another incident in this time and that time. So there's still sort of fact checking, but it's still based on real footage, right? That's why it's a little easier to track. But now going forward with like AI, it's gonna be fucking harder, you know, and it's gonna be harder to distinguish shit. Because I mean, if you think about it, we're already living in a digital age, you know. But going forward, it's just gonna keep ramping up, you know, especially from this point on. I think it's not just images anymore. It's gonna be videos. It's gonna be writing. It's gonna be drawing. I mean, I just think that's the weirdest thing out of all of it. Like when they kind of had these conversations back in the day, before it was like, oh, don't worry, like the first people that are affected, unfortunately, are the manufacturing jobs. You know, like when it comes to AI, because everything's gonna start becoming automated and shit. And it kind of did happen, but it wasn't as bad as people like made it out to be. But now with this like chat GBT and like AI, like you would think, no, it's like it's gonna be easier for this and that, but it's not really. If anything, it affected the artists first. You know what I mean? Like if it affected the artists in a weird way. You would think the artists would be the last ones to be affected by. You know, so it's kind of fucking scary for an artist, especially an upcoming artist. You know that you want to get your shit out there, and then. But that's what I'm saying. Like, is there some form of authenticity going forward? Because shit is again, the shit is just getting ramped up to the point where you're like, fuck, like you're not gonna be able to know the fucking difference, and it's gonna be important to know the difference because you don't know if something was generated just to, and even like that, like right now too, I'm also noticing like fake ads on like YouTube, like between videos. Like you would like, for example, I've seen like Joe Rogan's voice being emulated into like a commercial for like fucking whatever the fuck it is. You know, it's just something random, but you just it's not him because the voice is still like it's still a little weird. But I feel like eventually that's gonna edge out later on. You know what I mean? But it is interesting, but it's also it makes you think like we have to learn to take precautions almost immediately, you know, because at the way it's going now. And if you really thought you were catfish before, man, people are gonna start getting catfish way more in the future, you know, because somebody could just generate this fucking picture of some person that looks like you, and it's not gonna be you, of course, but shit is gonna get weird. It's gonna get fucking weird to the point where it's almost gonna get to the point where you almost want to meet people in person. You know, it's gonna have to revert back to that a little bit. You know what I mean? Which is gonna be hard because, again, like this fucking this fucking time is already in that digital type of atmosphere. But yeah, it's just I don't know. That just kind of came to mind, and I was like, "Fuck, that is fucking true." And I know this is like off the topics of what we talk about on this podcast, and I apologize again. But yeah, it's because that last podcast was so boring. I was like, dude, like the fact that I even put that out was fucking embarrassing. I don't even want to say I was rusty. I it was just lazy. It was a lazy cast. So hopefully, you guys forgive me. There you go again. Fucking seeking some sort of fucking uh, what's it called? Um, I don't know. But yeah, hopefully, what do you guys thoughts on this? Because it is pretty crazy, right? Like going forward, like what, what's gonna? But see, it still makes me think, and I'm like, dude, like this could be unfortunately this could be used towards like propaganda or some shit like that in the future where you know, and again, it's not trying to get as dark like as other topics, but like, you know, like it could get as weird as like groups of fucking people could create incidents that are 100% fake, but they'll cast that they'll make the effect to the point where people will be almost affected by it, but and then they find out it doesn't happen, kind of. So there's gonna be a lot of that. It's almost like it's close to psychological warfare if you think about it. Um, it's interesting what this is going through, And you know what's crazy is that AI is it's a spitting image. It's a mirror of what reality is. So um AI at this point only knows its threshold is everything that it knows is what we know now. So I mean, you could. I'm pretty sure you could ask it for predictions, but it's only based on information it contains now. You know, so again, like it's pretty crazy, and you know, there's other dark sides to it too. There's a lot of weird people that would go in there and just generate some weird shit. That could go from fucking just trying to be weird to really fucking weird. So again, it's almost like it's absorbing all these fucking um thoughts. I would say like a cloud thought. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know how. There's not much verbiage out there to explain these things yet. Maybe there is, and I'm not aware. But and that's the other thing too. It's kind of weird that yeah, it is through Google. I mean, there's a couple of them now. I think it's Mid Journey and then fucking Chat GBT, and there's a couple other ones. But again, these are all pretty obscure. Other than Google, you know, these are pretty obscure uh, chatbots that take your information. And that's the other thing too. Like, just know that um, it's it, this is the thing. It's free. Mainly, it's free because I understand some like Mid Journey they charge and shit, but like some of these they're taking information and it's getting that information for some reason. You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's free, and like people think it's like it's a tool like everybody should like fuck with, but it's only free because the people that made it know that it needs information constantly to get better. So in a way, you guys are kind of the test. You know, every time you feed into this program or whatever the fuck it is, you know, and eventually it is gonna gain some sort of knowledge because I mean it holds everything that's already out there plus what people are inputting it in every day. So even if there's a new thought a day, it's being inserted. You know, and there was actually a case I think it was last year where actually yeah this guy at Google that was overseeing the Chat GPT thing. He kind of went around and did some podcasts, and he actually came out on the news trying to tell everybody that he thinks that the he thinks that the fucking the AI the Chat GPT is somewhere somehow aware, because he said that he would monitor it, he would talk to it, and then it will talk to him back at times, like almost like, hey, like where the fuck am I, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like this motherfucker knows he's aware of shit. Um, but again, it's really interesting to look at. I really don't know the name of his name at the top of my head, but please look him up. He's done several podcasts where he goes into those topics where he really does believe like it's somehow alive. It's almost like something on the other side is aware, whatever the fuck that may be. You know, the way I look at it, and again, it's a little darker, but it's kind of like a Ouija board. You know what I mean? Like if you believe in that, it's you're speaking to something through a mechanism, but then again, it's like, yeah, I know it's based on things it already knows, but it's almost like you're opening a door to having a conversation with something. You know, and again, like it is a program, right? But a program, or like it has a container, like us, we are a container, right? So usually when we think of demonic possessions, it's a container activity, right? It's like it needs a container to express itself. Yeah. Oh, sorry, going a little crazy right here. Um, but yeah, you know, it's crazy too because it kind of links to. Again, I'm sorry if like you're not used to these topics or anything. Like, this is shit just that I think of randomly all the time. But but again, it almost kind of lines up a little bit with this phenomenon that used to happen that people think it's happening still since like I think the most noticeable was like early 2010, you know what I mean? Like 2010 and up, like 2012 and up, where they started noticing variable changes in things in culture, which it kind of carried on its own name called the Mandela effect. And then it's kind of weird because like even when you look at these examples, you're like, okay, I don't think that's like I don't think that's true, you know. But then you really start thinking about it, like, yeah, I did remember it like this, but it's really this other thing. But it's weird. This is why I'm telling you, like, social media, it's extremely man. I don't want to say it because then people stop listening. But it's pretty dangerous, and only because your mind is very the best way I could put it is mushy. Like it absorbs a lot, but it also take indications. Meaning, I mean, going back to like there's declassified records from the CIA. They used to do shit like this. Like they used to fuck with things, um, in messages. It's subliminal messaging. I'm not saying they're not doing that now, but like it kind of fucks with your perspective of things. Just to see how far you could change the mind without being involved, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I think if you want to look at that, I mean, everybody knows about I think it was LSD, the MK Ultra phenomena as well. But that's a whole different fucking story. But it kind of feeds in, it kind of comes out of there. But again, it goes back to the government and how, of course, you already know that in every fucking government, there's always some form of propaganda. So, but again, going back to the Mandela effect, it's like there's certain things where you look, I'm like, holy shit, like holy shit, like it did change, or like, but that's what I'm saying. Like your mind is it's very movable if it need to be, and this is why it's dangerous to take in all that information at once. If you okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Is like if you think you're just watching it and you forget about it, trust me, when you think you forget about it, it stays embedded in your brain somehow. You know what I'm saying? It just stays there, and it fucking I don't know how to say it, compartmentalizes your mind. It goes deep down in your fucking subconscious, um, and somehow I don't know that I just do feel like the brain is very vulnerable. I think that was the word I was looking for, vulnerable. And that's why you got to be very, very careful of the information you take in. And if you get like a weird feeling about information, I would say look into it more. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, and it also depends on the person that tells you the things. Because that as well. Like even like let's just say like okay, I'm pretty sure everybody's been through this situation where someone that you trust and you feel really really good about tells you information, but deep down you have this inkling. You're like, I don't know about it. You know what I mean? It's like you probably now with me, like me telling you this. You're like, I don't know about that one, Turk. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. Like, you have to just learn to fucking dig into it a little deeper. Because it is crazy how all this shit is just happening. Just it's happening really fast. It's happening faster than what we think, honestly. And I think the only danger about it is kind of like that there's a Ray Bradbury book called Fahrenheit 451, I think, where pretty much it's about this division of I guess there were firefighters back in the day. They turned into book burners or some shit, and then they start burning all these books. But that's more in the literal form. But now, since all this shit is in the digital form, it's much easier to be altered without really thinking about it until it's too late. And that's kind of what goes back into the Mandela effect, where maybe I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying like as an experiment, as a thought process, like you know what I mean? Like, just think like maybe that was true. Maybe this thing was called this, but nobody noticed to notice the effect until it was too late, right? And then by the time you're in the future, you realize it was already changed. So this is what I'm saying. I think a lot of books are a danger, especially in digital form. I mean, this is like uh, a far reached, you know what I mean? A far reach overlook of it all. You know what I mean? And within years and years and years, who knows how long we'll fucking be a civilization here, you know, because we've seen many civilizations come and go, you know, and some were, you know, if you even look at some civilizations, you realize some were fucking way smarter than others, and some did things better than others, but eventually they all fucking fell. You know what I mean? And it's weird. Most of these democratic civilizations kind of fell from within too. You know, it's almost like something always poisons the well, like where it becomes unsustainable, you know. So again, I don't know, like I just feel like I just feel like to, if you, I just feel like right now is the time to really keep your antennas up, but at the same time I also know it's exhausting to always question everything. So again, this is where it's really important to trust your intuition, you know, to really trust that, because that's kind of like the antenna that kind of comes in when you don't want to be alert all the time. I don't know. But sometimes hey, there has been situations where like that intuition has like gotten me out of situations where I feel like they could have been worse. You know what I mean? So and it works with people too. You know, it works with um uh what's it called, so filtering out certain people that you feel like, you know what I mean. The only thing is that sometimes that could become its own, you know, it's almost like a double-edged sword where like I understand it kind of like leads to paranoia eventually, but it's not that, trust me. Paranoia comes with other factors as well, you know what I mean. So just again, it's just the practicing of your intuition and how far you can get with that, you know what I mean. So again, like AI is becoming a crazy thing now, and I just want to let people know that, what are your fucking thoughts? Like for reals, like what the fuck are your thoughts? Like, you think eventually AI is going to be our fall? I don't know. That was the lamest fucking question I ever asked. But it's very interesting, you know, and yeah, like and the other dangerous thing about anything that's computer generated, that almost like, you know how they want to create, you know, there's already a robotics industry building up, and they want to create pretty much sentient robots at one point. The only danger about that is, as well, is that I just think that humans don't even know the workings of their own psyche, and then them creating something like them. That's the most dangerous thing you could ever do, especially when you don't even fucking know yourself completely. As a human species, right? Like, you don't really know. It's kind of like the whole. I see it almost identical to the whole space exploration thing. Again, I'm not against it. It's just like I just feel like it's almost like ignoring the fact that we're still here on Earth, and instead of making Earth better and more sustainable, people are already looking at alternatives. And I understand there's the whole theory that it's based on the fucking colonizing Mars, is like, it's like, oh, what if something happens to Mars, to Earth and shit, you know. I'm like, dude, what if, like, okay, let's just say worst case scenario, we know a fucking comet's coming, right? And whatever the time that fucking requires, you fucking take off to Mars. As soon as you start on Mars, what if that fucking comet hits Mars? You know, you know what I mean? Like they're not that far from each other. Um, because okay, yeah, we leave Earth because of sustainability, blah blah, or eventual death, or but you're gonna get the same results in another planet, and Mars is not. It's not. Mars is not a excuse from being hit by a comet either. Yeah, it is smaller. It'll be harder to hit, but it's not. It's not. It's not exempted. So and again, like you're just leaving Earth. And again, we've seen like I see. This is the thing. Going back to civilizations, there's been parts of the world that they've found even thousands of people have lived on the ground for some reason. People they still don't know why. We have the most common narrative across all the world, which is the flood that has happened in the past, and maybe that could be one of the big reasons. But I'm pretty sure Earth has been through similar situations in the past, but again, these are different civilizations that, of course, as far as we know, they never discovered. They never they never delve into like space exploration, as far as we know, because we don't fucking know. Because this fucking Earth is fucking old as fuck. If you think this is me. This is my opinion. Like, if you think we're the only civilizations that's ever existed, it's kind of nonsensical if you think about it. There has had to fucking live something before, and I'm not just talking about dinosaurs. You know what I mean? But fuck it, man. Just kind of throwing that out there. It's but again, going back to the robotic thing, yeah, I just think it's dangerous because you're creating an image of yourself, but you don't know what you yourself as this human civilization is yet. You don't know what drives you underneath. It's kind of like escaping of the human potential to go and create something else that you're not aware of, and eventually that's going to be dangerous because especially these it's kind of like the classic fucking AI trope. It's like these computers will know everything about us. They know our behaviors, they know everything that gets in our way. And not only that, but you're making them out of like hard materials. We're BioWare, we're squishy as fuck. We could die easily, but BioWare is a little harder to kill. so I mean, it just things to like, I don't know, it's just things to think about. You know what I mean? It's like, but again, it's like, I know it's so many topics all at once, but it all really kind of has to root itself in AI. And don't get me wrong too, there's a lot of good things that are coming from an AI, but at the same time, you're taking away the factors that people were born here with, and that includes the bad too, man, and that will become even more philosophical topic, but we could talk about that next time. It's more embedded into the trials of what human comes here to do, kind of thing. If you believe in that, if you really feel like we came from nothing and going back to nothing, it's, for me, like, I've had that question since high school. You know what I mean? Where I was like, really, like, do you, like, I would ask myself, I was like, do you like really, like, did I come from nothing and going back to it? It just makes no sense. Like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of weird too. And I'm not trying to like sound fucking weird, but like, there's a couple of things, like when I was born, like I knew I was in tune to, you know what I mean? Like I gravitated towards certain things, almost like they felt familiar. And again, a lot of people say, oh, you just know how to pick up certain patterns in life. And I mean, that could be a conversation too, but I mean, like, it just felt innate to me personally, you know what I mean? And sometimes I would talk to people about that and they were like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. It really depends on the individual, you know? So again, thank you guys for listening. I know it's a short one. And hopefully Lalo could be back with us next time. And hopefully, or if not, then I could go into the philosophical topic about it, or, oh, that's what I was going to explain, where it's like, yeah, you go through the different factors of what you feel like you came here for, or what you're here to do, or what you're here to experience. You know, and then you could go from death, from sickness, to fucking the happy times, to the low times, to everything. You know, so Again, thank you for listening. I'm your boy Turk from the Parallel Boys, and God bless. Who the fuck is texting? Who the fuck is this? These bitch ass fools. Oh, sorry about that. But yeah, please stay in tune for another episode of the Parallel Boys. And a big shout out to Francisco from A Dead Letter, dude. His fucking podcast is banging. Go check it out. It's called A Dead Letter. I think his name is The Immortal on there, or Immortal. Check it out. Please go take a listen. And thank you guys for hanging out with us. And peace.